Wow. Good evening, and welcome to Bold Moves Radio. Tonight is a pre launch of a new show that comes to you with a lot of good things. It is called the African Experience. And today, I'm just here as a guest host. I'm not the host of this program. You know, the past 4 years have been challenging for all of us. It was COVID 19, the global food crisis, and now load shedding. In the midst of all this, it is very easy to dwell into the downward spiral of negativity to the extent that we forget the beauty that we have as a country and as a continent. Today is a pre launch of a brand new show called Explore the African Experience, well known as, or which will be branded as the African Experience, and a punchline saying, let Africa embrace herself. We are bringing a pair with a story that is an embodiment of the African experience. These pair with a story, they will be co-hosting the show starting from next week, which is February. Now we still, of course, closing the month of January. That is why today I'm a guest host for this program. We are going to hear their story, and we're going to really zoom into how to embrace, or why embrace Africa, embrace yourself. As co-hosts of the brand new show, they will also share more about what this show will entail and the vision of what this show, or what to expect on this show. So I just want to take this time tonight and welcome our hosts for this beautiful brand new show. And of course, it is true that a brand new show comes with brand new hosts, and they are co-hosts. And I see they are all here. Let me straight away introduce our host, and that is none other but Aventina Mabunda. And some of you, you'll say, no, that's Mandla. But on this show, she's not Mandla. This Aventina Mabunda. She is the founder and director of Masana Dietitians. And I want to say to you, my dear sister, good evening and welcome to the show.
Evening, Pastor Strike, and I'm excited to be part of this beautiful show today.
I'm telling you, I have the honor to preside today. I'm a guest host, you know what I mean? And I'm going to do all I can, because I know I will never again be on this show. I will never again be hosting unless you invite me. So let me see. Our second guest, who is a co-host, is none other but Dr. Hlamalani Ngwenya. She is widely known as Dr. Hlami. Some call her Dr. Perfect because of the Perfect Opportunities campaign that she has been driving for many years. She has PhD in sustainable agriculture from the University of Free State, and she is a global citizen who has traveled to over 50 countries, and 23 of those countries being in Africa, and of course beyond. She is the recipient of the Presidential National Orders in 2021 under the Order of the Baobab in bronze for her contribution to sustainable agriculture, education, and community empowerment. Those who have watched the event on television, you'll remember a lady who was dressed in a bright yellow Tsonga print dress and went on her knees as she was receiving the award. She is a professional and a proud mother of three. She is a published author and an aspiring poet. Good evening, Dr. Hlami, and welcome to the African Experience. Oh, sorry, Dr. Hlami, I'm sorry.
Yes.
I welcomed you, but I did not release you. I did not open your lines, but now I've opened your lines. Good evening and welcome to the African Experience.
Thank you so much, Pastor Strike, and good evening to our listeners, and good evening to Mandla, my co-host. I'm also very excited to be here, to be sharing, the platform with you.
Oh, lovely, lovely. And this evening, allow me to say um, to my viewers and my listeners, you are all welcome. And thank you so very much for being with us on the African Experience. And I know this is a brand new show, and this show will bring you a lot of things. And tonight, I just want to zoom into our hosts and hear what they have for us and their background, where they come from when it comes to their profiles and exactly what they've been doing. Because I must say, they are world changers. They are movers and shakers. And I'm so excited to have ladies that are making things happen and having the honor and the privilege of hosting them, like I said, as we start with a brand new show. And without any waste of time, I want to call them tonight a pair with a story. I understand that your story dates back, ladies, over decades. How did you two first met, if I may ask? And this is Mandla, or not Mandla. You see now, there's no Mandla here. Here there's Aventina. My executive producer, if you could take your daughter, please. That's me. If I'm busy and then something happens, I easily, take a detour and settle it. Sometimes when they are on television or on radio, they are so scared. They don't want any mistake. No, it's life. And sometimes a fly will come from where it comes from, and the next thing you have to fight it. So I want to know, guys, you are watching us on Facebook and also on YouTube. This is life. You know what I mean? It's life. So anything happens and somebody comes and they knock and they come in and there's an emergency and you tell them you stop and then you attend to it and then we continue. Let us now hear from the pair with a story. Where did you meet Aventina, if I may ask?
Oh, thank you, Pastor Strike. A story it is. It dates
Aventina, is it because you just arrived?
back
Because I
to
hear.
when I met doing.
Yeah, now I can hear you. You were really joking. I know you just arrived
Can you
wherever
hear
you
me?
are. So, yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Aventina? Can you hear me? All right. Aventina, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Yeah. Yes, I
Yes.
can hear you. I
Oh,
can.
thank you. Thank you.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, you can continue then. Aventina, can you hear me?
Okay. Can you hear me now?
I hear you. I hear you.
Okay,
Yes,
great.
go
So I
ahead.
was saying this story really started when I went to high school at Isaac. Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Go
Okay.
ahead.
It started back at high school.
Connection is challenging,
It's
Aventina. Your
challenging.
connection is challenging. And
Okay,
Doc,
maybe
if you
let me
Maybe
could,
hand over to
yeah,
Sami.
yes,
let
maybe
Dr.
I can
Hlami,
come in.
if you could
Yes.
come in, Doc, yes.
Yes, the story actually started long time ago at Ketunumalo High School. If I may
Mhm.
recall, I started working there. I think I joined the Ketunumalo High School in 1993.
Mm,
Yeah,
mm.
1993, 1994 there.
If,
And I
if,
was a high
if, I
school.
may ask, if I may ask, were you classmates or what was happening?
No, I was actually teaching there.
Yes,
Yeah. So
I wanted you to say that.
yes, no, I joined. I was a teacher there, and I was teaching home economics.
Fantastic.
And part of the home economics, I was also teaching nutrition. So my matric class of 1997, guess who was part of that? Aventina was actually part of my matric class of 1997. I was teaching, nutrition. It's very interesting to see over these years that, one of the students that I taught nutrition for that matter, and I'm actually stressing nutrition because here she is today. She's actually a guru in that
Mm,
space.
mm,
So,
mm.
yeah, so that's how we met. We met, she was my student, and fast forward to 2023, here we are working together, we are co-host, and it's so inspiring for me to see how she has actually taken that nutrition with her into her professional space.
That's why I say we're you classmates. When somebody looks at Dr. Hlami, you will think, no, she's maybe she might be doing a first year at varsity, and you have been around, and you have
I've
done
been
a lot.
around, I've been around, I've been
And
around, yes.
if I may ask, how does it
Mm,
feel, being an educator, and the next thing you see your products doing well, like you, Aventina specifically, you were teaching
yes.
it was house economics, and it was related to food.
Mhm.
And today she's a brand, she's a guru when it comes to nutrition. How do you feel as an educator when you have you have had that opportunity to touch somebody's life like this?
Oh, it is so humbling. And I think it is a lesson that we are learning as educators that, when you are a teacher and you are teaching that young person there, let us not underestimate, the impact that we're having, because
Mm,
it's the seed that we plant, whether we plant a negative seed or we plant a positive seed, it
mm,
actually comes, to fruition. So in
mm.
this case, definitely it was a positive seed. I didn't see it coming, and I have been following, Aventina over the years because of, seeing how she has actually turned that, lesson that she has learned in high school into her professional space. So I'm actually one of her number one fans.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. I must be honest. It must feel so wonderful to see somebody that you taught, and the next thing, I always say to my teachers, if you see me today and they call me Pastor Strike, I must be honest. I am your product. This is what you produced, and that's why it's important not to underestimate even the children that you stand before. The words that you say, they go a long way, in shaping the life of that particular child. And that's why back then, when some educators will tell you, you are a dunderhead, you cannot learn, it's very
Hmm.
dangerous. It's very dangerous because they will remember you through that story. It reminds me of the late Dr. Miles Monroe. May his soul rest in peace. He said of his teacher, Mr. Smith, and the gentleman who kept on saying, you cannot learn, you are a half being. And but
Hmm.
the good story is that years later, he was in a meeting where Dr. Miles was speaking, and then he came, a frail old man, and then he bought a lot of books for Dr. Miles, and he was busy signing
Hmm.
them for him. And the old man, after that, he stopped and he did not move for others, but he stopped and looked at him, and they said, "Do you remember me?" And he said, "Not really, sir." And he said, "Look at me and try and think. Do you remember me?" And he said, "No, I cannot remember you." And he says, "I'm Mr. Smith. I'm
Yes.
your teacher." And
Wow.
they hugged, they cried, and the old man said, "I was wrong, I was wrong."
Yeah.
So it's a great lesson to know that, those children that you're standing before, they are great people still trapped in small bodies, and the time will come, and then something great is going to really come out of them. Let me see if
Yes.
Aventina is able to
She
join us. Aventina, are
I
you?
she
am
can
back.
she's
Ah,
back. She can hear us.
no, that's good. Now, I think when your face is not there, You sound even clearer. Maybe,
More expensive.
yeah. No, Aventina, you are still relating to us how you met and became and in the process of becoming the pair with a story. Could you please bring us your story?
Oh wow! I was still in, reminiscing about high school and how it started with home economics and having Mistress Ngwenya at the time. That's what we used to call her, Shingwenyani, Mistress Shingwenyani. She had so much energy. You couldn't help but fall in love with whatever. Even if she was teaching us woodwork, I'm sure we would have fallen in love with woodwork because
Yeah.
of the energy that she brings wherever she is, and then
Mm,
she really inspired me or planted a seed for me to go on and want to know more about food. So
mm,
that coupled with the fact that my dad later had diabetes, and I would
mm,
see how my mother prepared different foods for him in order
mm,
to control at the time what they were saying his sugar levels. So
mm,
that coupled with the seed that was planted in school, when I went to university, I didn't even know that there was a course called dietetics. I
mm,
found out when I was there, I was actually going to study medicine. And then
mm,
when I arrived there, I hear there's this course and whatnot, coupled with the fact that you could graduate earlier. I'm like, good shot. This is what I'm all about. And I enrolled for dietetics and I never looked back.
mm,
So
mm,
that is the long and short of how this passion for food, this passion for coming back to our roots with our own indigenous foods really came from.
mm,
So it's all thanks to my co-host, and now this brings me so much joy that I'll be sharing this platform with her. She's been
mm,
actually kind of my sort of what indirect mentor for the past years because I've been attending some of her things with food security and we've been touching base throughout this time. So this for me is like coming full circle with someone, with your teacher and your
mm.
mentor. So this is quite exciting. I'm looking forward to this.
Wow, that's great. And I understand also you have something common with where your roots are. And if Dr. Hlami, if you could tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, destiny, okay, so I could put it that way that, the world has ways of actually connecting people. As you are saying that, this is a pair with a story, we have shared how we first met in high school. But as we got to know each other, we realized that actually our roots come from the same, foundation. My parents originated from Mozambique, and I
Mm,
think, Aventina can also relate to that. So my
Yes.
father came to South Africa when he was 14, and he went back to Mozambique and married a Mozambican girl. So when we talk about our roots, our
mm,
roots actually, come from Mozambique. And I know Aventina has, similar roots, which you
mm,
could actually share. So I
mm.
think for
Yes.
me that is so profound. Yes.
Wow.
Yes, talk about destiny. Talk about destiny. My mother actually is from Mozambique, and may her soul rest in peace. She's from Katembe,
Mm,
Inwanangwa Mafunja. So my grandfather, talking about church, he's one of the co-founders of the Dutch Reformed Church, as you know it,
mm.
including Yalegiyadi. So
Including your
even,
language.
even so he's one of the people who actually started the Dutch Reformed Church,
Mm,
and so we are so interlinked. I don't think we can even undo the linkage, even if we wanted to. It just goes too deep.
Yes,
And
no,
mm.
we can't. Yes.
yeah,
No,
so
no.
that's
I
how
take
far.
the phone and put it on silent. It's exactly what I was saying.
Yes,
Something
there
happened.
are people around me.
No,
Yeah,
some they want to call you and tell you, we're watching you, and not being aware that you're alive.
they didn't get
Yes.
the memo. But anyway, yes, that's where my name actually, Aventina, comes from.
Mm.
That is my
Yes.
maternal grandmother's name.
Oh
So she's
Wow.
yes.
Aventina. So and then they, when I was born, they then gave me her name. So it's
Mm,
only two of us that I know in the lineage, yeah. Yabana Bakatembe, who's got that name. Actually three, the other one has passed on. So it's a
mm,
beautiful name, and I decided now, because I'm now all about embracing Africa for myself and understanding who I am. Why not? I decided then to embrace my Aventina name, which is like a third name. People know
mm.
me as Manda or Matimba, and Aventina is my third name. So that's my story, and that's how we link up with Dr. Hlami.
Yes.
Wow, that's beautiful. My wonderful listeners and viewers, thank you so very much. You're watching and listening to the African Experience with a pair with a story. And I'm your host for tonight. I'm just a guest host. And these two are the real hosts of this show, and that's Aventina Mabunda and Dr. Shamalani Ngwenya, well known as Dr. Hlami. And I just want to us to journey today. It's just a pre-launch of the show, and there's a lot that you're going to hear and you're going to enjoy on this show. But allow me to take this short break, and when we come back, we want to look at exactly how do they embrace the African experience. You know, how do they embrace the Africanness, because it says, Africa, embrace yourself. And we're then going to zoom in and see the vision of the show, what the show entails, and what to expect in this show. But let us take this commercial break.
Ladies and gentlemen, here it is.
Streaming 24/7.
24/7.
Bold Moves Radio.
Bold Moves Radio.
Afrika nakupenda sana. Oh, Afrika nakupenda sana.
That's it. You listening and watching Bold Moves Radio. We live on Facebook and we live also on YouTube. And I'm your guest host, Pastor Strike. But the host is Aventina Mabunda, co-host. That's Dr. Hlami Ngwenya, the pair with a story. And right now, I just want us to zoom a little bit and hear how these two embrace being African in their different spaces. And I would love to start with Aventina and hear how Aventina, she embraces her Africanness in her own space. Aventina?
Thank you, Pastor Strike. Well, the name of our company to start with is called Masana Dietitians, underlining Masana. Masana is the rising of the sun.
Mhm.
So we are embracing the rising of the African sun by making sure that we bring nutritional, home grounded solutions. So our
Mm,
products, for example, we use local sourced ingredients. So we don't source anything from outside South Africa, meaning Africa. So we are very proud, and that's why now we'll be also launching our indigenous range. We explore even ingredients that are not familiarly used in the nutrition space. We'll be delving and exploring what other countries are having as their indigenous foods, and we're going to be incorporating that into our products. So that is how we're embracing Africa. Most of the people that listen to me on other Bold Moves radio shows, like the Prudent Women, they know I like saying, please let's try and eat to live and not live to eat, and going back to the basics and embracing who we are, the foods that we were taught when we were growing up. So that is how we as Masana dietitians are embracing Africa. We also do that by now venturing into the African space, the SADC market, the neighboring countries. I mean, we've been now launching in countries like Mozambique, like seen us last year, in Namibia. And hi, Dominga. She said I must just mention her name in the mix because she was my host. So hi, Dominga. And and then we went as far as Congo. So this year as well, we are still proceeding on that line. We have lined up Ghana in the mix. We are going to Kenya. So it will be a beautiful way to explore our Africa while we're taking our products that are locally manufactured out there into Africa and into the world, really. So that's how Masana dietitians come into experiencing Africa.
Beautiful, beautiful. And you ladies, one can see even from the screen that these ladies are really making things happen. And I would love also to acknowledge our viewers and listeners. Those of you on Facebook, I see Mama Takan Mabas, I see Danisa Waka Kosa, Dr. Tisela Mdaka, Pastor Joy Lean saying, very profound, Dr. Hlami, Mama Onika Nkuna, good evening, family. Charlotte Makwele, good evening, family. And then Dr. Mikateko Mabunda, Africa Arising, big up ladies. And then Dr. Mkateko also saying, talk about destiny. And also Mama Virginia Mangani and many, many others. Thank you so very much for being with us, ladies. And I must say, ladies and gentlemen, the program itself, it cuts across gender. It's both ladies and gents. Because believe you me, these ladies are well traveled and they travel Africa. And we are going to have a great time, great and awesome time with these ladies. And I just want to hear now from Dr. Hlami how she embraces her Africanness. That's Dr. Perfect. And I'm so excited. I must confess, when Bold Moves Radio started, Dr. Hlami, in fact, she's just doing a comeback because when Bold Moves started, we had a program that we were going to do, but unfortunately, because of her employment, then she said, hey, I must concentrate and I must not be found coming, carrying a lot of things. You know what? Destiny again. Here she is now. We're back right where we started. Dr. Hlami, how do you embrace your Africans?
Yes, I mean, it is my name. It's very, very African. It's very Tsonga. Hlamalani, which means be surprised. You can't even hide behind that. And as you said, introduction, that I was fortunate to have traveled, to many countries, and people who know me, they cannot miss it. They will always say, Tsonga people, we invented color blocking. If there is one person who will embrace, that color blocking and bright, and that is me. So wherever I am, I embrace, my Africanness. I embrace my Tsonganess without, being shy or anything. It doesn't matter whether I'm walking in the streets of Germany or Rome, or it doesn't really matter. You have to see that, this is really an African that is walking there. As you have said that, I'm also an inspiring, a poet. So I write poems. So one of my first poem was actually Mutsonga wa Xiviri. So basically, it's everything and everything about being a Tsonga child. Mutsonga wa Xiviri. And then I also have a poem which I called Unapologetically Black. So this is me really trying to embrace, who I am and embracing, my Africanness.
Wow.
Yes, when we talk about African experiences, really we're gonna be looking at those experiences from different perspective and different angles.
And I'm tempted when you talk of the poems, Mutsonga wa Xiviri. Do you mind to give us a little bit of taste of that poem?
Oh, well, okay. So Mutsonga wa Xiviri is a poem which is actually written in English, sorry. Although the title is Mutsonga wa Xiviri, but it's actually written in English. And the reason why it's written in English, it's not necessarily meant for the Tsonga people, but it's to tell anyone else and everyone else who's not Tsonga. Hence, I had to write it in English so that, somebody who's not Tsonga can actually be able to understand that. So I will definitely, give you maybe a few stanzas maybe before the end of the show. I will
Ah,
definitely do that. Yes,
I'll appreciate that.
I will do that.
Look, you the pair with a story. You both traveled the world and explored the continent of Africa. What did you see, if I may ask, Aventina?
You know, first thing that you see about traveling is the beauty that is Africa.
Mm,
I mean, you go from whether it's Adzanini, whether it's Namibia, there's just something specific about that area that makes you appreciate being an African.
mm, mm.
So that for me is what stands out. When you go to like a place like a Mozambique, you will find the people there, the culture, the way they embrace you, especially if they hear you talking in Tsonga, you're like, okay, you are home. You just feel as if you are in your own home. So the beauty of Africa for me, that is what stands out. Number two, it's the food. The
Oh, yes.
food is so distinct, and when it's attached to some sentiment of some sort. When you eat masonja, it takes you back somewhere. When you
Mm,
eat sadza in Zimbabwe, it takes you somewhere. So the food that we have is so rich, and our history, and what we present as a people. I cannot talk more about the clothes. I know, Dr. Hlami, that is your passion, but it's just so beautiful to observe these things. And the more we go out, and that is what maybe we can also urge our viewers, our listeners at home, let's first travel our own Africa. Let's explore. You'll find that it's so beautiful. And we have so many things in common then differences. Actually, that is what I find, and that is what I appreciate about traveling Africa specifically.
wow.
Yes.
Before Dr. Hlami comes and also tell us the her experience as she travels the continent, I would love to take this time and again acknowledge our viewers and our listeners. I see Sister Mhlari saying, good evening. Sisbongile Manaz saying, "Riperile sonto Mkobane." I love you, Sis Mandla and Dr. Hlami. Proudly Tsonga because of you, like you. Beautiful and lovely. And thank you, my dear sisters. And may I say to my viewers and to my listeners, yes, with Aventina tonight, you just see AM there and a black spot. That's because she just arrived. She will tell us exactly where she is, because of business. One thing that is so beautiful about these ladies is that as we explore the African experience, they travel. So they are going to really give us a lot about this beautiful continent. And they are also teaching us, like she just said, traveling is one of the things that we must do and explore the African experience. Let's hear Dr. Hlami. What has been your experience, Dr. Hlami, as you travel the world and travel Africa?
Well, my experience is something that is really humbling. As you have indicated, I have been including South Africa, that will be almost like 24 of the African countries. So that is
Mm,
almost, 50% of, the African continent.
mm,
Whenever I travel, I deliberately look at the positive.
oh, yes.
Whenever I go to the country, I tell myself I want to feel the country. I'm looking at the positives, and it has helped me a lot because I
Mm,
experience people. I
mm,
experience, their culture. I experience their intelligence. I experience music. I experience food. I'm so obsessed with tea. I will be,
mm,
buying tea and, material and all that. And I think that is what we see the beauty of Africa. And I think for us, this show, it's all about that. It's
mm,
all about anything and everything Africa that brings, that hope, and that brings, the positive, spirit. And I think
mm,
this is what the show is all about.
mm. Yeah, yeah. Indeed, you are a pair with a story. And of course, yeah, there's a lot that we're going to learn from both of you. But now let us go back to the program that we are pre-launching today the African Experience. In fact, its fully name is Explore the African Experience, but it is the African Experience. Let Africa embrace herself. And I would love you ladies to tell us a mouthful, about this program and what the program entails. But allow me to take this commercial break. And when we come back, we are going to dive into the African Experience. Let Africa embrace herself.
This is
Bold Moves Radio.
Streaming 24/7.
24/7.
Say Africa, say Africa, say Africa.
Boldly breaking barriers and limitations.
That's it. That's it. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to know that this program will be airing and will be live every Tuesday, 6 o'clock to 7 o'clock. So make an appointment listening and make sure that you are available and enjoy yourself, because I must be honest with you. I don't want to preempt, because you see, me, I'm one person. You don't tell me anything. You tell me something, I can tell you. Bangon ber shifuba lishrai we donkey lo rashko to work at the marker. You tell me something, man, I will talk about it. In fact, I'll talk about it and own it, and, until you think it's mine. But it's so interesting. So I don't want to be too excited and try and preempt, but I want the pair with a story to tell us and give us what the African experience, Let Africa Embrace Herself, is all about. May I start with you, Dr. Hlami?
Okay, so actually the program, it's about celebrating, Africa. As you indicated, in your introduction, that, in the past 4 years, there is a lot of negativity. We don't run short of that. But in the midst of that negativity, there is a lot that is actually happening on the African continent, which is positive. There is a lot of, there are a lot of people on the African continent that are actually worth, celebrating. So the program, it's about, Africa and its people. It's about, celebrating the people. It's about acknowledging the different, cultures. It's about learning. There will be a lot of learning. We'll be hosting, different people from, all African countries. But also we also have a lot of, Africans that are in the diaspora who are not residing on the African continent. They are elsewhere, US and other places. But wherever they are, they still raise, the African flag. So we'll be bringing them to share with us, and we'll be learning, together. But also we're gonna encourage our listeners to also share, their positive experiences that, they have about, the African continent. And if we don't tell, the beautiful story ourselves, who will?
Yeah, if we don't tell the good story about ourselves, who will? It reminds me when the story Gianni Land of Blood started, and people were furious and said, "Yeah, Guyana is not the land of blood. What is that, and what is that all about?" And of course, they were right. But if you don't write your story, somebody will, and they will write what they will write their experience. If their experience was bad, they will paint the whole thing with that bad. I must be honest with you. But what I love again, Dr. Hlami, is the fact that you say, look, the beauty of Africa is not only its mountains, it's not only its rivers, it's not only its mineral resources, but it's its people, the cultures, the Ubuntu, Africans, I've been to Malawi, the way people will receive you. I've been to Zambia,
Mm.
they respect,
Yes.
you know.
Yes.
And I thought, hey, that's not one but this, and it's so beautiful. And again, the humility, if I may put it, Africans, they are one people, they will do great. There are those groups, those cultures that they will do great, but they will not show. You will not say it. But I'm great. I'm glad that you're saying you're going to be hosting Africans from different parts of the continent. Dr. Klami, even before I go to Aventina, one joke is that I've heard people even on media, even some of my leaks in the media space, they will say,
Mm.
these people from Africa,
Mm.
and they are here in South Africa. These people from Africa, as if we're in another continent, but we are the same Africa,
Exactly.
and that is why Africa, embrace yourself, and there's a lot
Yes.
to learn. There's a lot to enjoy. There's a lot to embrace. Aventina,
Yes.
what can we expect on this program, please?
Pastor Strike, actually, to put it simply, we want people to join us as we embrace Africa for ourselves. I
Mm.
mean, like you rightfully said, after COVID, really, if you are still sitting at home knowing what not to do with yourself and what not, no, we need to now start telling our African stories. We need to embrace our different cultures. We will learn more about the food, how to cook the different food. We will know about the different cultures, including dating in different cultures, including family, religion, marriages, beauty, and how we explore beauty as Africans. So we are inviting everyone who is an African to come join us. Come have fun with us. Come and embrace Africa the way you want to embrace Africa. And if you feel you have a burning story, come and join us as we explore and embrace Africa for ourselves. We'll also share about tourist attractions in different African countries. We will learn how the basic different languages, African languages work, and how similar, and how we raise children. Everything that says African, we will be ready to go and explore. So we're inviting our audiences. Please tell family members, please tell people in everywhere, all over the world, to join this show, because it will be an eye opener for everyone. I promise you that.
Wow, that's beautiful. In fact, while you're talking, it reminds me of one of the sons of the soil, B.I. Pakati. Yo, I'm telling you, this
Yeah.
gentleman is just touches my heart in a
Yes.
special way. Somebody who reaches out to the destitute, reaches out to people who never expected anything and reach out and help. And like I said, Africa has this humility that is so amazing.
Mm.
I don't know his face to date. You know, the Crown Gospel Awards, our sister, hosted him. He put a mask on, and people say, "We can't see you. We want to see you." He never took off his mask. But you know
Mm.
what? That's Africa for you. And it
Mm.
cuts across black and white. He helps everybody. May God
Mm.
bless that man. Now, let's talk about the vision of the show. You always say you want to see the end in mind. What does the end look like, if I may ask Aventina?
So what we're looking at here is, we want to really, at the end of this, we want to really elevate the narrative of the beauty and value of Africa. So we want the world to see Africa for what it is. I think gone are the days where people are selling that soapy story, that poor little, that child that has mucus running down the nose as a picture that represents Africa. Now we want the world to see Africa for its beauty, Africa for its people. We want people to embrace us for who we are. And we are hoping that we will also take pride in who we are, because these are new times that we are actually venturing into. And if you don't know who you are, if you can't define what you stand for and what presents you as a person, then you're in really you're going to go through tough times, because now is the time for us to explore ourselves and embrace Africa for ourselves. So that is what, now at the end of it all, when we say the need behind the need, that is what we are trying to do.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Maybe if I can add, Pastor Strike,
Mm,
as Aventina is talking, there is
mm,
hunger and thirst, to put, Africa on the spotlight
mm,
for the
mm,
right reasons.
mm,
And I
mm,
think this is what the program is all about. Let
mm.
us put, Africa on the spotlight for the right reasons, and really celebrate, the positivity and the beauty of the continent.
Very true, very true. I saw a gentleman talking about Kenya and said, the way they love environment, and the fact that they've got even a helicopter that flies as it drops seeds, to push their country. And he said, hey, and this man is not an African. He was saying, let me tell you something about Africa. Beside what we've been hearing, that as when you go to Africa, it's like while you are asleep, there is a lion behind, just
That is
the bed
walking.
of that is walking, and you meet elephants and you're running and bumping against the animals. And he took snippets of Africa and the
Yes.
beauty of Africa, the development that is in Africa. And I
Yes.
loved that, because I must be honest, you know, systems that governs the world sometimes are very rude. As South Africans, you know that those who do not travel, they think when you come out of South Africa and go north, man, you are going into a dungeon. They don't know what to expect.
Yes.
And
Yes.
there are business opportunities. There are all opportunities. But let me not, I'm not the one to talk too much here. And let me not overstay my welcome, because I'm just here as a guest host. Dr. Hlami, what can the listeners and the viewers expect on this show?
Okay, like you have already alluded to that, there are a lot of opportunities. So the guests that will be, inviting, these are the people that are actually doing, exciting things in their little corners or in their corners on the African continent. We're gonna, as we say, charity begins at home. We're gonna also invite, guests from South Africa, and we'll make sure that we cover all the provinces, so that we learn from each other.
Mm,
Um, and what we have, especially for the last Tuesday of the month, we
mm,
want to call it learn a skill day. So we want to bring people who can actually teach us something. It could
mm,
be how to learn Swahili, or how to actually prep for of some sort, and we are
mm,
very, very excited about it. And we already
mm,
have a lineup of people that are very excited to come and share their African experience in their little corners, and what they do. And you'll also get an opportunity to meet, with people who are trail blazers, the people who are innovating and all that, and you can be able to learn and get, connections with them. But also, as we have spoken about some of the Africans that are in the diaspora, there are people
mm,
who are in Australia, there are people who are in the US, there are people who are in India. We want to know, how did they actually get there? What
mm,
kind of opportunities do they see, which they can actually share either with our young people, so that
mm.
we share. We say, sharing, it's actually good, so that people can actually use this platform to actually share, the different opportunities that exist.
Wow. That's awesome. That's awesome. My dear viewers and listeners, you're listening. This is a pre launch of a new show, Explore the African Experience. Africa, Embrace Yourself. And the host is Aventina Mabunda and the co-host, Dr. Hlami Ngwenya. And these are, they call themselves a pair with a story. And I must be honest, these ladies, they have a story to tell. Aventina, what more can we expect on this show?
You know, I will not be doing justice to my fellow entrepreneurs if I don't mention this. Anyone who feels they have a business idea that they want to launch, they can get in touch with us. Pastor Strike will give out the details. Come, this is like a family type of show. Come and share with us. Get in touch with us. If you've got a beautiful dress that you want to showcase, get in touch with us. We'll give you the platform and we'll launch you as we are launching ourselves as African. So please don't look at it as just a family enjoyment show, but it is actually a business platform for those that are business minded, and we are open. We are open for that. Come and have fun with us. Come and embrace Africa the way you know how, and come and tell your stories, first hand story.
Mm, beautiful. We are about eight, if I'm right, 8 minutes to 7 o'clock. You guys have dished quite a lot of stuff, and I'm sitting on the edge of my seat here, and I cannot believe that the show is almost drawing to a close. Dr. Hlami, what is it that you can add to what Aventina is saying?
Yes, and like we said, this is really a platform where we're actually creating for our people. As we share the stories, then we're also going to share your details so that, people know where to find you. Like we said, that, we're going to dedicate, especially the last, Tuesday of the month, of learn a thing. And learn a
Mm,
thing there, or learn a skill. For example, if you know how to do carpentry, for
mm,
example, those
mm.
are the people that we will be hosting, and they can actually, teach us a few things and whatnot, but also use that platform to actually draw, attention to whatever ideas and businesses that you actually have. So yes, we want to embrace, and this is the platform where we share, we get to know each other, we share, and we connect, each other on the African continent.
This is awesome. This indeed is a show not to be missed. And I would love to say to my listeners and my viewers, like I said, the program is called Explore the African Experience. Africa, Embrace Yourself. And this is what to expect on the show. And the show goes all out to celebrate Africans within the continent and in the diaspora. And I'm telling you, it's gonna be fireworks. And right now, Aventina, she's out. She's out of her province. She's in Gauteng, but she's out of her province. And wherever she goes, doing a training on nutrition and all that, she will be coming back with wonderful stories. And of course, Dr. Hlami, I know I've disappointed her many times, but I think this time I have nowhere to run. But she has invited me on different conferences, even in Rome, and it's gonna be wonderful because they are going to be sharing with us stories, and they are going to be hosting this program from wherever they are. Like today, one is in Cape Town, one is it? Um, uh, uh, I forgot that place, Aventina, but it's okay.
Freiburg,
Freiburg.
What did you say? Freiburg?
Freiburg, Northwest. You get used to it.
Oh,
Don't
Freiburg.
worry.
Oh,
Yes.
Freiburg.
Yeah.
Freiburg. Yes. Thank you so
Not
very much.
frying eggs.
You- How will I get used? Because the next time you will say you are in DR, and I mean this and that.
Yes.
But that's beautiful.
Great.
And Closing remarks, ladies. And before we do that, I would love to just again say thank you to Rodney Waleka, Jim Jones, Dr. Criswell Baloy there, and then Mind Uncle D, and then Manket's team, Mama Manket's sharing experiences with will be a great opportunity for us. You know, Mama Manket's I've been working with her for a very long time because she's with the am I right? The Human Rights, Human Rights Commission,
Okay.
and she's also a lady to share some very powerful experiences. And Mama Elizabeth Chipalana, the Professor Chauke, this one is a scientist, so we're gonna share a lot of African experiences. I would love to hear a lot from this program, ladies.
Yes.
Your closing remarks, because now it's about 4 minutes to 7 o'clock, and I don't want to overstay my welcome on this program
Yes.
because I'm just a guest host. And what are the
Yes.
closing remarks?
I think my closing remarks would be just one paragraph of Mutsonga Washiveri.
Oh, yes.
Tsonga for life, true class I am, amazing species I feel, perfect in my imperfections, defined by my birth, destined for greatness. I am Mutsonga Washiviri, spectacular born to be, my inner and outer beauty I define, the color of my skin I embrace, all things bright and beautiful I feel, the bold and the colorful I'll always be, the brighter, the better, unapologetically proud. I am Mutsonga wa Xiviri. I leswo tala va ta swi twa loko se hi
Oh,
kha hi-
wow.
Wow,
Wow.
that's
That's
beautiful.
so
And
beautiful.
Bapedi ba tla ke tšhaba mediti. E ba re ke tšhaba meriti, ke tšhaba meriti. Wow, that's
Yes.
beautiful.
Oh,
Hey,
Yes.
oh.
can we please ask you to write a poem about Bold Moves Radio? Because I've
We
seen
can do that. We
made
can do
bold
that.
there. Because
Yes.
Bold Moves is boldly breaking barriers and limitations, raising the flag of
Exactly.
hope for an African child. So that's awesome. That's
There we
powerful.
go.
And
There we go.
we have Doris Noko and Mantakan Mabasa over there. And then what did you say, Mantakan? Oh, Sister Kanani? Oh yes, Sister Kan saying, will entrepreneurs in
Yes.
the tourism and traveling sector be
Yes.
be applicable for
Applicable
this
for
kind
this.
of a show? That's a good
Absolutely.
question. And then,
Definitely.
Absolutely, absolutely. Those are
oh
the ones that we want to host so that they can share, because when we travel, we see things, and there are those people who see things that we don't see. And these are the things that we will be looking for, and will be definitely will be, getting in touch and looking for those in the different countries as well.
wow, this
Yes,
is awesome.
definitely. This
And
is so exciting.
Aventina, you're parting shots.
After that mind blowing, I think, Sissy, you should have said it at the very end when we say now we're signing off, because now I don't know how to. how to- But anyway, what I would love to say to our listeners out there, please come, let's relax, let's have fun, let's embrace ourselves, let's tell our stories the way we know how. So we are going to experience Africa for ourselves, and we are all going to share a story, because it's my firm belief that we all have a story to tell. So that's my parting shots for today.
Wow, ladies, I must be honest. I've fallen in love with your program. And thank you so very much for trusting me to launch this show today. And I want to take this time and appreciate the executive producer, that is Pastor Joy Lean, and then the producer of this show, that's Dr. Mabila Matebula, and the technical producer, that is DJ Messi. As for me now, I would love to say thank you so very much. You have had for yourself. A lot is going to be happening on this platform, and that is Explore the African Experience. Africa, embrace yourself. And the show will be airing and will be on radio every Tuesday, 6 to 7. It's now exactly 7 o'clock, and I am signing off. Like I said, I'm just a guest presenter for today. I hope I did my best, and I will hear from the ladies after after this. They say thumbs up, but what can they do? They have to encourage me. Thank you so very much. And load shedding said, boom, I don't care because we say